So here we are, my last city in Germany. It's been an amazing tour. It's been a bit of a blur, I have to say, but it's nice to be finishing off here in Stuttgart. So thank you all for coming around. I appreciate it. As Krista has been reading this section, Johnny Truant has a certain way of visualizing the darkness of the house. But of course there are other ways that the house is addressed. So for the first section I'm going to read, it's called Tom's Story, and it's a transcript. And I apologize for my voice. I seem to have been felled by some sort of pestilence. But we'll rally through, and forgive me if I channel a bit of Jack Nicholson now and then. Tom's Story, transcript. Day 1, 10:38. Outside Tom's tent, breath frosting in the air. Who am I kidding? A place like this has to be haunted. That's what happened to Holloway and his team. The ghosts got him. That's what will happen to Navy and me. The ghosts will get us. Except he's with Reston and he's not alone. I'm alone. That just figures. Ghosts always go first for the one who's alone. In fact, I bet you they're right here now, lurking. Day 1, 12:06. In order to maintain contact, it was necessary to set up the radio outside the tent. Radio, Davidson. Tom, we found another neon marker. Most of it's gone, just a shred. We're laying down a line and proceeding. Tom, into the radio. Okay, Navy. See any ghosts? Radio, Davidson. Nothing. You a little spooked? Tom. Lighting up a fat one. Radio, Davidson. If it gets too much for you, go back. We'll be all right. Fuck yourself, Navy. Radio, Davidson. What? Tom. Doesn't he go around autographing light bulbs? Radio, Davidson. Who? Tom. What? Radio, Davidson. What? Tom. Never mind. Over, out, whatever. Changing channels. Tom. Karen. This is Tom. Radio, Karen. I would hope so. How's Navy? Tom. He's fine. Found another marker. Radio, Karen. And Billy? Fine too. Radio, Karen. How are you managing? Tom. Me? I'm cold. I'm scared shitless. And I feel like I'm about to be eaten alive at any moment. Otherwise, I'd say I'm fine. Day 1, 15:46. Okay, Mr. Monster. I know you're there, and you're planning to eat me. And there's nothing I can do about that. But I should warn you, I've lived for a few years on fast food. Greasy fries, more than a few polyurethane shakes. I smoke a lot of weed, too. Got a pair of lungs blacker than road tar. My point being, Mr. Monster, I don't taste so good. Day 1, 18:30.
Meine Frage, wenn man ein Buch über einen Film schreibt, warum macht man nicht gleich einen Film?
Wonderful question. It gets to the heart of so many things. I think, first off, for those of you who don't know, my father was a filmmaker. So I was raised around movies my whole life. My sister and I would huddle around in the living room while my father brought home these 16mm prints, and we would proceed to watch Orson Welles, John Ford, Kubrick, Lubitsch, Fritz Lang, everything. And
Let me get into it, translate a bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Er hat gesagt, sein Vater ist Filmemacher gewesen und brachte also abends all diese Filme der berühmten Regisseure, Sie haben das gehört, mit nach Hause, und sie hatten im Keller ihres Hauses ein Kino, in dem sie diese Filme, 16mm Filme, gesehen haben. Seine Schwester und er, während sie noch kleine Kinder waren. Das hat ihn natürlich stark beeinflusst.
And between real changes, then we would discuss the film, and my father would be very pointed about his analysis, pointing out the political impact of certain angles, the emotional effect of certain saturated colors and whatnot.
Also sein Vater hat ganz offensichtlich diese Filme immer zu kommentiert, hat über die politische Wirkung eines bestimmten Kamerawinkels gesprochen und über die auch emotionalen Wirkungen, die bestimmte technische Einstellungen in Filmen hatten, so dass also Film und Filmmachen ständig präsent waren, von klein auf für Mark in seinem Leben.
But the key was that my father loved to make films. And too frequently in his life, though he made many films, he was frustrated by being not able to make films.
Also sein Vater hat zwar Filme gemacht und auch eine ganze Menge, aber er war eigentlich immer frustriert, weil er immer meinte, er kann eigentlich keine Filme machen.
And I should say he had some triumphs, but he's not someone you would have heard of necessarily.
Also er ist nicht richtig berühmt geworden.
So my sister and I were raised in many ways on the telling of movies that didn't exist.
Also sie sind beide, seine Schwester und er, eigentlich groß geworden mit dieser Existenz von Filmen, die eben nicht existieren, die es nicht gibt.
And in some ways I think there was a little bit of a rivalry, you know, in the sense that I was always frustrated. There was always some excuse why that vision never came into fruition. My father's vision of a film. I was frustrated to see that there was a plan. It was like an Arthur Miller character. One day we will do this and the world will change. And
also wie frustrierend für ein Kind zu erleben, dass der Vater also diese Vision hat und diese Vision einfach nicht umsetzen kann.
And I realized at one point that I could go down that path because my father wasn't unusual. Living in Hollywood, there's plenty of people who talk endlessly, you know, for decades after decades that they're going to make some film that they never make or star in some film that they never even get an audition for.
Also das ist kein Einzelfall in Hollywood, da gibt es lauter Leute, die ständig davon reden, was sie machen wollen für Filme und die doch nicht dazu kommen, das zu machen, was sie gerne wollen.
So I think that